Let me put this. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to our May 28, 2024 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. This is a regular scheduled meeting here at 239 West Main Street, Richmond, Kentucky, here in the City of Richmond Commission Chambers. I appreciate the City of Richmond allowing us to use this space as always. This time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Lockmuller.
Here.
Master Hughes.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'll invite Master of the First District, Brian Combs, to lead us in a word of prayer.
Please join me. Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day that you've given us. We are thankful, Lord, for the weather that we have today. And Father, for the opportunity to do the business of the county. We ask, God, that you will give us discernment, Lord, when we make decisions. Father, to do what's right for the best of the people that we serve. Father, we ask, God, that you will bless all those that are serving today. Father, as we've come through Memorial Day, we're mindful of those that have lost their lives and given their lives for the freedoms that we have. And Father, we don't take that for granted. God, we want to honor their memory. And Father, we just ask, God, that you bless all those that serve. And Father, we just ask, God, that you continue, Lord, to use us in this county to better this community. Father, just have your way in this meeting, and may everything be done according to your will. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Brian. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Sheriff. Members of the court, y'all have had a chance to look over previous meeting minutes. The first set of minutes that we need to approve will be the May 14th, 2024 Madison County regular scheduled fiscal court meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve, please.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Lockmuller.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next was a special call meeting, and I again apologize for having to have a special call meeting 2 days after, but we missed a couple of employees at the seasonal employees at the golf course, so we need to approve our special called fiscal court meeting that was held on May the 16th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion, second, any discussion? I think that one went down the shortest fiscal court meeting in history. I'd say, yeah, it took longer to drive up right up the elevator. So, no discussion, call the roll.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Lockmuller.
Abstain.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Abstain.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next, our treasury report. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. As of April 30th, 2024, our total fund budget was $43,772,758.17. Our general fund revenues were 102.88%, expenditures 56.1%. Our road fund revenues 100.67%, expenditures 67.57%. Our jail fund revenues at 84.54%, expenditures 77.59%. LGEA revenues were 83.47%, expenditures 26.85%. CSEP fund revenues were 34.4%, expenditures 32.54%. Our 911 fund revenues were 78.91%, expenditures 66.97%. And our health fund revenues were 57.34%, expenditures 51.91%.
All right. Sarah, if you don't mind, read the general fund numbers again, please.
102.88% in revenues, 56.1% in expenditures.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your report. Any updates? Any discussion? Anything you don't need to address?
Revenues above expenditures, that's always good.
Always good.
It is.
Good thing.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it. First order of business today is a community diversion program update. Our county attorney, Jenny Hayman, is going to give us an update from down at the podium.
No, I'm going to stay up here.
I'm just teasing. If you want to stay up here, you can. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
always going to have to physically move.
Yeah.
You have to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, she's just trying to give her a hard time.
Yeah. She hates going to the podium.
Okay. Good morning, guys. How are you today?
Good.
Good.
Good. Okay, so normally you guys hear about what we call our CDIOP agreement with Baptist Health, and today's a little bit different. Today, with your guys' help, due to some judicial changes that they made, we had to come up with some alternative methods with our diversion program. So I'm very grateful for you all to assist with that. And what these diversion programs entail are programs that we use, and I'll have to break them down for you a little bit, but it's not for mental health treatment, and it's not for traffic safety. So those two are separate, right? We give you our mental health, our CDIOP program updates, and then traffic safety is done by statute. So that's a statutorily mandated program that we use. The company we use for traffic safety's name is Advent. They are a Kentucky-based company. They work with, I think, about 69 counties in Kentucky, because there's more than one company that does it. And they're also, and I think, almost to about 7 other states. I think they told me last time I checked that they've expanded out to that. But we use them because they go through and they create science-based educational related courses. So the courses that Madison County uses for diversion programs are in alcohol and substance abuse, anger management, animal care, corrective thinking, which I like to call, let's just learn to live life like an adult, type class. There's hunting responsibility, a marijuana and THC, a shoplifting, and then a general theft course. Okay, so these are all online related courses. They vary in length. During COVID, we actually went and we talked to Advent, and I had all my staff take all the courses to see what it is that it entailed to kind of go through and experience those. And you do have to take a test at the end. And so I actually broke those numbers down for you all. The total number since July of 2023, when our fiscal court year started, and then I did the numbers through April because it's hard for me to keep getting updated numbers. So we contract through Advent to use that, and we put 279 participants within those programs, okay, in less than a year. The programs overall, of course, some of them vary a little bit, but on average, they have an 87.5% pass rate. Now, I'll be honest with you, most people who failed just didn't take it, right? That's how we know. We talk to them, they find out. Some of them we give second chances to try to get them and say, hey, these classes result in diversions for them, meaning their charges get dismissed at the end. So these are all for low-level offenders, a college kid with an AI, right? Who takes an alcohol and substance abuse course. A first or even a second-time shoplifter. We'll give them a chance to say, hey, they have to pay restitution back, but we'll take them a course so it's not on their record if they've done something dumb, right? These are good people who sometimes just make bad decisions, so we want to give them a chance versus incarcerating them. I'm sure Jailer Tussey appreciates that, we try to minimize the number of people sitting in jail, especially on nonviolent misdemeanor cases, and that's what we're looking at here. So in that short period of time, we've put 279 people through. At the numbers, I think at the time when I pulled the numbers for the end of April, we still had 47 of those people were in progress, and we could pull these off our Monday and Tuesday dockets. So that's one big program that we're able to use for them to minimize them going to jail, them getting a fine and not being able to pay it and going to jail. We don't, we try not to incarcerate for inability to pay, and give them a clean slate. Once these cases are dismissed upon successful completion, then of course we now have automatic expungement, so it's off their record. So it gives everybody a second chance. So it's super helpful for those. Like I said, I think our number one program is the shoplifting program. I bet you all probably thought it was the marijuana program. It's not. It's the shoplifting program. Marijuana does come in number 2, and alcohol and substance abuse come in number 3. And although obviously those two classes, there's a lot of people that we do put through CDIOP for related substance abuse issues, but we do it based on need on their assessments, but also on whether or not, if it's an AI, I'm probably not going to put them through an intensive IOP program, right? Especially for a young college kid. So we look at their record and try to balance whether it's a need for intensive outpatient or if it's just a need for a little bit of education on how, to function. Alcohol's not illegal. We just want them to be responsible for it. Okay? The second part of what we had to do, and we had to bring this completely in-house. Advent does have an insurance monitoring program, but because of the judicial changes, we couldn't contract with them. We couldn't make it work with them. So we developed, I say we because it was not just me. I had 2 people, including our diversion manager, Anna Moore, who you guys assist with on that, come up with protocols for bringing insurance monitoring in-house. And you would be shocked about how important it is to have the insurance monitoring. The number of people who drive without insurance obviously is not a good thing. We want to minimize that. But we don't want to, and we always use this as an example, one of she's now a circuit judge, one of our former district judges always used this as an example. We don't want to suspend licenses for single moms who have to work, but didn't have insurance at the time, so we want to try to help them and develop a program so that we can make sure they maintain insurance and that they can continue to provide for them and their families. So in the same period of time, and this shows you how much more predominant no insurance is, we enrolled 306 people in a no insurance program. No insurance first and seconds ranged from 30 to 180 days in jail to a $500 and $1,000 fine, and your license will be suspended on your second for a 6-month suspension. So by enrolling in the programs, we are able to keep that from happening. We're able to keep the license from being suspended on the seconds, and we're able to keep you from being incarcerated. It is a long program. It's not as short as the online course. There's no education component to it. It's a monitoring program. So I have to have people in my office call and confirm that you are maintaining insurance. We don't just take the card as proof, because that card obviously can be canceled, right? We all know if I get my insurance card, it has a 6-month period on it. But if I call after 2 months and cancel it, I'm still carrying around a 6-month card. So we don't just take the card as proof. We actually call in and monitor it to make sure you have insurance. We don't punish you if you don't have a car in your name. If you get rid of the car in your name, we will still put you in the program and monitor you that you no longer have any cars registered in your name. Okay? That way those that say, fine, that we're driving a friend's car or somebody that got busted for no insurance aren't susceptible to the same increased punishment having to plead, because it applies to them even if it wasn't their car. It's owner and operator. So you have to be monitored for a first offense for 12 months, for a second offense for 24 months. Okay? Now, in both of these programs, what we had to do, and part of why we brought it in-house, is we have a scale. So there are a significant number of people on the financial scale that can't afford to pay for even a nominal fine for their programs, right? It ranges from $250 at the highest, just for either insurance or an admin course. It's a $250 cost to us. A majority of that cost is admin's cost when it comes to the diversion cases. But we use the same scale that the Supreme Court adopts for the poverty scale on income. So for insurance monitoring, there are people, we had 72 people enrolled that pay $0 for that program. And that's part of why we had to come and say we need some assistance, right? That's 23.5% of the people who filled out, we make them fill out a financial affidavit to determine their income. And Autumn is on. I mean, she asks some tough questions, because if everybody finds out they don't have to pay everything, they just say, no, I don't make anything, right? But it's household income, and she'll ask for documentation. So in no insurance, like I said, 72 enrolled pay $0, and that ranges from $0, $62.50, $125, $187.50, and then $250. So that's your range in the cost, how you fall on the scale. For the admin diversion programs, and we have to appreciate not only what you all do to help us offset the cost, but with admin for being willing to take a case with $0 cost. They're the ones out the majority of money when we have to do the reduced scale. And for them, of the ones enrolled, 54, which is about just shy of 20%, came down to a $0 cost. In both programs, over half of the individuals enrolled get a reduced cost, whether it's reduced or $0. Most of the people enrolling in these programs are not going to qualify for the full $250 price. Yes, sir.
Jen, can I ask a question right there?
Mm-hmm.
Do the court cost fees get discounted as well for
Yeah.
those individuals?
Yeah, yes, when they do the diversion programs, there's no court cost.
Okay.
So, and just so everybody understands, and we tell the people in court all the time, the court doesn't get those court costs.
No.
Right? They go to the general fund for the legislature.
Yeah.
But when you do a diversion program, you're not paying the court
Okay.
costs either. So. Any other questions?
So you think these programs are effective, or is it?
Yes, I mean, you're always going to have, at 87.5% of the people enrolled that are going to successfully complete them, that you do see, we don't see, it's not the same group of individuals that we see that maybe we're putting in jail. These are first, second-time offenders. They don't typically become lifelong offenders. A lot of them are young. They make bad decisions. With 2 universities in our county, we get a lot of college kids, and we just don't want to ruin, especially like the marijuana charges and stuff. We don't want to ruin their financial aid. We don't want to ruin their records. Tailgating results in AIs. You know, we tend to get that. We don't have as much of a downtown scene anymore, so we don't get a whole lot of that. But you know, it does help, and it does reach out to them. And some of them, you know, they just need to realize that somebody's watching.
How long does that, one of them courses normally take?
So I think the shortest one is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it ranges depending on which course it is. We didn't knock them all out in a day when we took them into offices. We took a couple of weeks to break them all down and go through them and do that. So I mean, you suffer a little bit to have to sit there and do the online course. I'm sure some of you had to go to driving school or take the driving school video. It's not fun necessarily. Yeah, it's not super fun. And you have to pay attention. These aren't courses where you just have a test at the end. These are courses that you have to like answer a question while it's going on to make sure you're either listening and or watching the screen. So you can't just, you know, play it and then wait till the end to take the test and pass it. So they require some accountability on everybody's part. So, and for a multitasker like me, that's super annoying. but it, you know, I try not to get in trouble so I don't have to take them. But we do appreciate what you guys do to see the numbers. I know it's new, it's just starting, we've not got a full year under our belt, but I think, you know, you're looking at 500 and almost 600 people now in those programs, so.
It's encouraging.
Any questions?
I'm really glad that you're doing monitoring the insurance long-term. That's really good.
Yeah, it's,
2 years is a long time.
it is a long time to be monitored, so.
The only thing I would ask is if there's a way to sort of collect that data to see what, like if there is a way here in a couple of years that you could see what a success rate is of the participants, and you might with some of your numbers be doing that, but I think it would really be good to kind of see what that return on investment is.
Yep.
For the fiscal court.
Yeah, it's easy on the advent courses because they're short-term. It's harder it'll be harder for us, but we can probably come up
Yeah.
with a way to monitor that on the no insurance ones
Yep.
that are more long-term.
Anyone else? Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next is first reading of ordinance 2024-04. This is the administrative code for our 2024-2025 fiscal year. Ryan, good morning.
Morning, sir. An ordinance to adopt the 2024-2025 administrative code. This ordinance supersedes ordinance 2023-04. Whereas the Madison County Judge Executive and the court recognizes that a personnel system which recruits and retains a qualified, motivated workforce is indispensable to the effective and efficient operation of the county's government. And whereas it is essential to have policies, procedures in writing. I'm going to try not to butcher this.
That's all right.
Delineating all aspects of employment effective by said policies and procedures. And now therefore be it ordained by the Madison County Judge Executive and the Madison County Fiscal Court of the Commonwealth of Kentucky that the policies and procedures attached hereto shall be the system of personnel administration for the county, and that the policies and procedures may be waived, altered, or suspended only by a change of ordinance. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
All right.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-04, Judge.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of ordinance 2024-04. Any comments, questions?
Who come up with that word delineate? That outline.
I don't know. Someone a long time ago. Yeah. All right, any questions? This is a second reading, or this is a first reading. Our second reading will be advertised. Just gonna see this by memory, see how good I've got by memory. Will be advertised. It can also be seen on our county website, Madison County, at www.madisoncountyky.gov, or you can come to our next fiscal court meeting when it's that we've advertised it on. Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Duncan.
Yes.
Master
Excuse me.
Combs.
Yes.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Sorry about that. Next is first reading of ordinance 2024-05. This is a drug and alcohol-free workplace policy for our 2024-2025 fiscal year.
An ordinance to adopt the 2024-2025 drug and alcohol-free workplace policy. This ordinance supersedes ordinance 2023-05. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has established a drug and alcohol-free workplace policy, including but not limited to supervisors, full-time employees, part-time employees, off-site employees, contractors, and applicants who are representing or conducting business for the county. And whereas the Madison County Drug and Alcohol-Free Workplace Policy is updated annually, and now therefore be ordained by the Madison County Judge Executive and the Madison County Fiscal Court of the Commonwealth of Kentucky does hereby approve the 2024-2025 Drug and Alcohol-Free Workplace Policy. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Members of the court, you've heard ordinance 2024-05.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-05.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2024-05. This is the first reading. Any questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none, this ordinance will also be on our website. You can see that at www.madisoncountyky.gov for a copy of this. You can also get it in our office. We will advertise appropriately for a second reading for our next fiscal court meeting. Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Bacon,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, first reading of ordinance 2024-06. This is the Code of Ethics for our 2024-2025 fiscal year. Ryan.
An ordinance to adopt the 2024-2025 Code of Ethics. This ordinance supersedes ordinance 2023-06. Whereas the proper operation of democratic government requires that a public official be independent and impartial, the government policy and decisions be made through the established process of government, that a public official not use public office to obtain private benefit, and that the public have confidence in the integrity of its government and public officials. And whereas the public judge its government by the way public officials and employees conduct themselves in the posts to which they are elected or appointed, and public confidence and respect for the government can be promoted. If every public official and employee, whether paid or unpaid, whether elected or appointed, will formally treat all citizens with courtesy, impartiality, fairness, and equality under the law, and avoid both actual and potential conflicts between the private self-interest and the public interest. And whereas the officials of this country are committed to the operations of the county government that manifests the highest moral and ethical standards among its officers and employees. Whereas the Madison County Code of Ethics is updated annually. Now therefore it be ordained by the Madison County Judge Executive and the Madison County Fiscal Court of the Commonwealth of Kentucky does hereby approve the 2024-2025 Code of Ethics. This ordinance shall become effective on the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Ryan. What's the pleasure of the court?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of ordinance 2024-06. Any discussion, any questions? This ordinance as well will be online at www.madisoncountyky.gov for anyone that would like to see this. Have a copy of it, and then we will also advertise for our second reading for our next fiscal court meeting. Hearing no discussion, call the roll.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Lockmuller.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Bacon.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Next is first reading of ordinance 2024-07. This is a joint local government 911 fee amendment. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning. This is an ordinance relating to the funding of an enhanced 911 emergency communications center operations for the city of Berea, city of Richmond, and throughout Madison County, Kentucky, in repealing ordinance 07-11. Whereas in 2008, Madison County implemented a joint safety answering service to provide a single telephone number for emergency services, creating a joint 911 center for the city of Berea and Madison County. And whereas in 2010, the city of Richmond joined the joint 911 emergency communications center. And whereas at the time of the establishment, Madison County, the city of Berea, and the city of Richmond provided for the funding of this vital service through a monthly fee levied on landline telephone subscribers in Madison County, which was collected through telephone service providers, and which was authorized by Ordinance 07-11. And whereas at the time of the 911 service and fee were established, most households communicated through landline telephones, as there were few cellular telephones in existence. And whereas the percentage of households in Madison County having a landline telephone service has decreased in favor of cellular phone usage. And whereas the fee levied on landline telephone service is no longer sufficient to fund, maintain, and operate E911 service as the Madison County Emergency Communications Center. And whereas Madison County is a political subdivision of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and pursuant on KRS 67.083 has the authority to provide and finance various governmental services with broad functional areas specified in the statute. And whereas the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the Madison County Emergency Communications Center is an essential public safety service used by residents of the city of Berea, the city of Richmond, and Madison County, as well as workers and travelers while situated in the county. And whereas it is essential to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Madison County that quality 911 emergency services be provided by the Madison County Emergency Communications Center. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court previously authorized the 911 service fee of proportioning the required annual operating appropriation for 911 services on landline phones, but this ordinance sets the 911 fee among 5 classifications of real property based on the analysis of percentage of 911 calls for service made to the Madison County Emergency Communications Center during the following year as follows. Single-family farm dwellings, multifamily dwellings, business properties, industrial properties, public use properties. Whereas the financial burden of funding 911 Emergency Communications Center dispatch services can most equitably be distributed among the citizens of Madison County by undertaking an analysis of the volume of calls for services being provided to various classifications of real property from the prior calendar year for properties that are situated within the county as determined by the zoning classification applicable to each parcel. And by then allocating the annual funding requirements of the 911 Emergency Communications Center above and beyond any other collateral funding sources hereinafter referred to as unfunded budget, to be determined as of January 1st each year as determined from the records of the Madison County Property Valuation Administrator's Office and the Madison County Emergency Communications Center. I'm gonna summarize some of this, if that's okay. So it goes on to talk about the formula that is used. That's also in your attachment that determines the rate, the multiplier, and the service fees, and how those things are assessed. The next section refers to the appeals board and talks about how you go about the process of receiving an appeal, who those members are, which do include members of the Madison County Public Safety Board, which will operate very similar to the current 911 board. Also includes the fiscal court clerk, as well as the county attorney as ex officio in their roles. It talks about the PVA's role in providing the data, but also being able to have limited authority to conduct initial review of an appeal. All of that is outlined in great detail. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Madison County Fiscal Court of the County of Madison in the Commonwealth of Kentucky that pursuant on KRS 65.760, which authorizes the funding of 911 emergency services through the establishment of a special fee in collaboration with the City of Berea and the City of Richmond, that an annual E911 fee shall be assessed against agricultural, residential, multifamily, business, industrial, religious, charitable, and educational parcels of real property located in the territorial limits of Madison County as determined by the records of the Madison County Property Valuation Administrator's Office and Madison County E-911 as set forth above. The E-911 fee shall be placed on the Madison County ad valorem property tax bills that are prepared pursuant on KRS 133.220, Section 2, for the year beginning January 1st, 2025, and continuing every year thereafter. For those nonprofits which are tax exempt, the E-911 fee shall be billed at the same time, and the said bill will only include the 911 fee. The E-911 fees collected shall be used exclusively for the delivery of enhanced 911 emergency communication services as outlined in KRS 65.760. The emergency communications call center data shall be reviewed annually. The applicable rate for each property owner should not be adjusted, so as long as the percentage of calls attributable to any particular classification does not vary more than 2% from applicable percentages in the prior year as applied to the unfunded budget. The county is hereby authorized to enter into the appropriate interlocal agreements with the City of Richmond and the City of Berea as necessary to carry out the intent and purpose of this ordinance. The provisions of this ordinance are severable if any portion of this ordinance and the application thereof for any reason is found to be unconstitutional or invalid. Such shall not affect or nor repeal any provisions of this ordinance or the provisions of previous ordinances. And effective January 1st, 2026, this ordinance will repeal the portion of Ordinance 07-11, which established the landline telephone subscriber fee. The termination of landline telephone subscriber fees shall become effective January 1st, 2026. So this ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption. And I promise I gave you the Reader's Digest version.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-07, Judge.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance, first reading of ordinance 2024-07. Is there any discussion?
There's a lot of good, hard work went into that. And some good homework, good study, so it's very good.
One thing I do want to make notice too is that these funds that are collected go directly into the 911 fund. There's been questions of that from, other elected officials, of citizens, that these funds have to be spent directly. They can't be commingled in the general fund. So these funds go directly to the 911 fund. They don't pass through another fund. They go directly to the 911 fund.
And they're for a specific use as well.
Specific use, that's right.
Is outlined in that
Yeah.
statute.
And that statute is very specific.
Very.
Well, I think this is something that the city of Berea and Richmond and the county have come together on for the benefit of our citizens, and I appreciate all the work that's done, and hopefully people haven't thought or think that this is political. This is about their safety.
And I think it's important too that this is an amendment to an existing ordinance. And so many people, it's funny that how many people I've talked to that they didn't even realize they had been at one time or should be paying a 911 fee. That 911 fee's been on landlines for a long time, and, people haven't paid it. I'm guilty. I don't have a landline, so
I've been doing my part.
thank you.
We appreciate your $42.
I think you referred to, did you say gray hairs the only ones that got landline
old
phone
guys.
lines? Old guys, yeah.
Then he looked at me, Judge.
Anybody else got a landline besides me?
Amy has to. She used to work for AT&T for.
All right, thank you all. Any other comments, questions? All right, this ordinance as well will be on our website at www.madisoncountyky.gov. If anyone that would like to see a copy of it, read it. You come by our office and get it. However, this will be advertised appropriately for our second reading. Hearing no other discussion, call the roll.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate it. Next is ordinance 2024-08. This is an ordinance, this is ordinance 2024-08, fiscal court budget for the 24-25 fiscal year. Sarah, good morning again.
Yes, sir. Good morning. An ordinance to adopt the 2024-2025 fiscal court budget, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the administration of the county budget, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court has reviewed the proposed 24-25 fiscal court budget, and whereas the county treasurer has reviewed the budget to ensure sound financial practices. Now therefore be it ordained by the fiscal court of the county of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, does hereby approve the proposed 24-25 fiscal court budget. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Sarah. Members of the court, you've heard the first reading of ordinance 2024-08. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve? Got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any questions? Again, this is the first reading. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just appreciate the work y'all done. I know you've been diligent, put a lot of effort into it, and I just appreciate the hard work that you did in presenting this.
Thank you, Billy Ray. Sarah did do it. This is Sarah's first budget, preparing it on her own and, or with everybody's help. I mean, it's a team effort, so, but she's done an excellent job. Is learning a lot, and so good job.
Thank you.
I stopped up last week and I wanted to also just thank you, Sarah, and Jill as well. Stopped up last week and just asked some questions about different things, and so I appreciate your all's assistance on that.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? All right, so I hope it's the last ordinance, so I quit having to say this, Jenny. So this is the first reading of ordinance 2024-08. If anybody would like a copy of this or see this, it'll be on our website at www.madisoncountyky.gov. We will also advertise appropriately for our second reading. Now, on this ordinance here with our budget, it won't be until our second meeting of June, second meeting of June, because we've got to send the budget to DLG to get their blessing and approval before it comes back. So we will skip one meeting before this one will be advertised and be on for a second reading on court. Okay? So anybody watching, I just want to make everyone aware. Hearing no more discussion, call the roll, please.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Buckton,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes, thank you all. Appreciate it. Sarah, thank you. Okay. Keep this book separate. Next, resolution 2024-447. This is Madison County Detention Center roadside inmate work crews, MOA. Steve?
Yes, sir. Resolution 2024-47, a resolution approving a memorandum of agreement between the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and the Madison County Detention Center for roadside inmate work crews. Whereas Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and the Madison County Detention Center wish to establish an agreement for roadside inmate work crews. Whereas during the 2-year term of this MOA, Transportation Cabinet will pay the county jail up to $13,000 for meals while performing road maintenance on a roadside crew. Transportation Cabinet will pay up to $80,000 for the correctional officer providing inmate supervision for the days the inmate crews perform work. Transportation Cabinet shall reimburse mileage at a rate determined by the Finance Cabinet unless Transportation Cabinet provides a vehicle, which, by the way, they do. Mm-hmm. We have a vehicle. Occasionally, we'll put out a second crew, which will be a county vehicle, and we keep the records and get reimbursed for mileage on that one. And whereas the term of the initial MOA is effective from July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2026, which is attached here to this resolution, now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee and the Madison County jailer to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Members of the court, you've heard resolution 2024-47. What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion approved resolution 2024-47, Judge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Steve, I have a question. Do you, you was talking about running a second crew at different times. Do they also pay you for the deputy in charge of that
Yes,
as well? That's part of the $80,000.
it's part of the 80,000. Yep.
Any other questions?
This pretty much the same contract you had before? Is there anything
is.
significant changes or anything?
No.
Anyone else? All right, call the roll, please.
Master Bucking,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Luckmiller,
Yes.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Next, Resolution 2024-48, this is Madison County Detention Center Food Service Management Bid Award. Steve?
Resolution 2024-48, a resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve a bid award for food service management at the Madison County Detention Center. Whereas Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve all bids for projects in accordance with Administrative Code, and whereas the bids for the food service management at the Madison County Detention Center were requested by Jailer Steve Tussey, and the bid notice was properly posted, and 2 bids were received and have been opened and reviewed by the jailer, his team, and the fiscal court. And the fiscal court's recommendation is to award the bid for food service management at MCDC to Kelwell Food Management. Now therefore be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Steve. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2024-48.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Have a motion, second. Any discussion?
I have just one question. Stephen, the pricing summary, which is the 10B attachment on that, they stated that officers' dining and staff meals will be charged at a rate of $7 per meal. In the,
I think it's 6. Is it 6?
well, it says 7 in the pricing summary.
Oh, okay.
But it does say 6 in the 10A document. That's
Okay.
attached with that. I was just wondering which one is correct.
Well, we'll let maybe legal counsel look at it to make sure, but I'm going to say the contract, which this is the contract that's attached, which is 6,
Okay.
because that's what would be
Yeah,
binding.
They can have a pricing summary, but they can negotiate whatever they want in the contract. So whatever the contract they entered into with you guys is what's going to be binding.
Yep.
Okay. It's cool. Thank you.
Okay.
If that's a clerical error, Tom, with your catch, are you good with 7? I mean, if it's a-
6. It's 6 actually in the one that's the contract. The pricing summary had 7.
Okay,
It looks like it's 6.
okay, okay. All right. Anyone else? Any other questions?
So when we vote on this, we're voting on 6.
We're
Just to clarify,
voting on the contract that was attached.
it states 6.
The state 6, yeah.
Just want to make that clear.
Steve, the question I've got is, in this, they talk about 2,500 or 2,900 calories.
Yes.
And it basically says you all would choose.
DOC recommends a 2,500 minimum calorie intake per day. And actually, I think that's what we ask for in the contract language.
Okay. So is that what you're going to ask for? Because in the contract,
A minimum of 2,500.
well, in the contract, they say pricing is dependent on the use of insulated trays and 3 hot meals and a weekly average of 2,500 or 2,900 calories. Before
think
the start of
they-
operation, client must pick one of the 2 calorie options. So I'm just curious, are you
think
going to
it's-
pick 2,900 or are you going to pick 2,500? Or will it be a mixture?
It's actually a kind of a moving target simply because of the menu items and the variation of calories on every meal. So it's somewhere between 2,500 and 2,900.
Okay, Because they give a,
2,500 being the minimum.
right, they give a price difference, like if you go with 2,500 calories, it's one price. If you go with 2,900 calories, it's a higher price, about 10 cents
Yeah.
a meal. So I was just curious.
No, I will ask for and expect a minimum of 25.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anyone else, any other questions? All right, hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, Steve, appreciate it. Next is Resolution 2024-49. This is Doyle'sville Road Bridge Pillars and Bridge Concrete Work Bid Award. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
It's good to see you, buddy.
You too. Resolution 2024-49. A resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve a bid award for Doyle'sville Road Bridge Pillars and Bridge Concrete Work. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve of all bids for projects in accordance with the administrative code, and whereas the bids were needed for Doyle'sville Road Bridge Pillars and Bridge Concrete Work in Richmond, Kentucky, and whereas the bid notice was properly posted and one bid was received, opened, and reviewed, and whereas the Madison County Road Department recommends awarding the bid for the concrete work on Doyle'sville Road Bridge to Stewart Contracting LLC in the amount of $88,130. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Scott. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2024-49. What's the pleasure of the court, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Scott, can you bring us up to date on the Doyle'sville Bridge?
Yes, sir. The latest update is I received a call from Frankfurt after receiving the permit that I was granted to build the bridge. And now they are concerned about a water quality study. So I've been advised that I had to file for another permit, which I have done. All the information is into the state. And to the best of my understanding, after reading it in depth this weekend, is that they have to advertise that project for 30 days from the date that we applied for the permit. So that would be this past Thursday. So it's going to be 30 days before I can begin work on the bridge. I have everything ready to go. Everything's in place. Stewart Contracting was the last piece of the puzzle. He's ready to begin today. And that's what we'd planned on. But now we're held up for an extra 30 days.
Well, how heavy a load can you drive across that bridge right now?
Wish not to answer that.
Huh?
I wish not to answer that.
Can somebody haul
The-
cattle
the-
truck across that bridge?
I think the sign right now says six ton,
The
right?
current sign says 6 ton.
Yeah.
Well, that would get, a cattle trailer would probably fall underneath that. But you're not going to say.
I'm not going to say no, sir.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. The state transportation cabinet comes in, tells us that bridge got to be worked on, fixed. It's emergency. And then we have to go through another, is this Division of Water?
The Division of Water was, both of them's Division of Water, but one of them was,
Drive across the creek for a little while.
one of them was for the permit to actually construct the bridge. Now this one is a water quality to make sure, I guess, that we're not going to pollute the waterways or cause any disturbance in the natural
Habitat?
habitat, I guess, of the creek animals.
So what's the 30 days? Are they going to do a study or what's the
They have to
advertising?
They have to advertise, from what I've read on their website, is they actually have to advertise 30 days and let people know that we are going to do this project and that we are going to disturb the stream and see if anybody has any feedback to not want us to do it. So if somebody does come in and creates a problem, then, it will be held up longer.
Well, I have,
30 days takes us to when?
What was last Thursday?
It's like the 22nd.
So about the 22nd of June.
And then after June 22nd, how long you think it'd take to,
It'll take me from start to finish 3 weeks. I'll be in and out.
So we're looking for probably the middle of July
middle to the end. I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
have a few
Depends
weather
on
dates.
weather, storms, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, Scott, I mean, for me, the lives on the other side of that bridge, those 12 families that live, 13, how many other families that live beyond that bridge are of the most importance to me.
Sure,
As
me
county
too.
judge executive. And so we've got to do what we have to do to make sure that we protect them and can have emergency response to them, more so than some natural habitat in a creek.
And you and I both discussed, if it
Yeah.
comes down, if it comes between those people down there, those 13 people, and the state, I'm gonna choose those 13 people every time.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
All right, anyone else? So we are approving the concrete bid to Stewart Contracting in Resolution 2024-49. Is there any other questions, concerns?
I don't know, just a comment, Judge, because we have dealt with this same, not the exact scenario, but we've dealt with this in the past when it comes to rock in creeks and not being able to clean the creeks out and flooding bottoms and taking away cropland and other things because of this issue with the Division of Water. And Division of Water just has too much authority when it comes to something like this. I mean, farmers for 100 years, well, not 100 years because equipment ain't been around that long, but for a long time, got in creeks in the summertime when there wasn't much water in them, and they cleaned them out. And they can't do that anymore because if it disturbs the water for over 300 feet, which is what this is about, then they have to go through all these nut rows to get something done, which is basically nothing. They can't get anything done. They can't go in the creeks. And it's just not right. That's not right.
Anyone else? All right, we do have a motion and a second. Hearing nothing else, call the roll, please.
Master Luckmiller,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Bucking.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, Scott, I think you are still up, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Resolution 2024-50, this is the Madison County Road Department Annual Bid Awards.
Resolution 2024-50, a resolution for awarding Madison County Road Department's 2024-2025 annual bids. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve of all bids in accordance with the administrative code, and whereas bids are for asphalt, bulk engine oils, concrete, culverts, petroleum, rock, and de-icing road salt. Whereas bids were properly posted and have been opened and reviewed, and the Madison County Road Department is recommending awarding of those bids as follows. Asphalt to the Allen Company Incorporated, bulk engine oil to Apollo Oil, concrete to Concrete Materials, culverts to Interstate Construction Products Incorporated, petroleum to Kentucky Petroleum Supply LLC, rock to the Allen Company Incorporated, de-icing road salt to Morton Salt Incorporated. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve the following bids and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to sign any documents regarding the contracts on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Scott. Members of the court, you've heard the resolution 2024-50. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Scott,
Yes.
during your presentation, I didn't hear you talk about ADS.
Yes.
Was that intentional?
Yes.
Okay.
ADS is just a different type of pipe
Okay.
that's going along with the culvert bid.
Okay.
So it's not a
That's fine. I
separate
just wanted to
company.
make sure it wasn't
Right.
okay. Thank you.
What about, you got a feel for general price change from last year for the
I'm
whole
going to say
package?
we're flat.
Flat? That's-
Yeah. I'm going to say a lot of the bids come in 20, 30 cents less. Some of them were 20 cents more. Asphalt, for instance, was like 30 cents more this year.
Yeah.
So I was really happy. But,
Yeah, that's good.
but if you take the minuses and pluses, I'd say that we're about flat from what we were last year, which was very unexpected.
Yeah.
And there was only a couple of these, I guess, different categories, Scott, that even got multiple bids anyway, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
The salt maybe is the only one.
Culverts went down because steel's down. Petroleum's down a little bit. That's the reason asphalt stayed flat, and that's the reason our oil prices, went down a little bit. So, I feel really good about it.
That's good. Thank you, Scott. Anyone else? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Bucking,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Luckmiller.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Next, Resolution 2024-51 is Madison County Fiscal Court Intervention Program, MOA, with Hope's Wings Incorporated. Jill.
This is a resolution to approve a memorandum of agreement for the Madison County Fiscal Court Intervention Program through a subcontract with Hope's Wings Incorporated. Whereas Madison County Fiscal Court is committed to supporting the efforts of Hope's Wings Incorporated to empower victims of domestic violence to make safe and permanent changes through support, understanding, education, and awareness. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court finds it to be in the public interest to continue to provide an intervention program through a subcontract with Hope's Wings Incorporated to improve the lives of women and children who are victims of abuse in Madison County. And whereas Hope's Wings Incorporated shall ensure victims who are in crisis receive provided crisis intervention services. These services may include, but are not limited to, safe shelter and housing, providing food and clothing, mental health counseling, which is provided by a contracted mental health services provider in a community partnership with Comprehensive Care for the victim and/or her children, and support groups. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Jill. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2024-51. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion to approve resolution 2024-51, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Bucking,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Luckmiller,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes, thanks, Jill. Next is Resolution 2024-52, Rave Mobile Safety Contract Renewals. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. A resolution approving contract renewals between Madison County Fiscal Court and the Rave Mobile Safety. Whereas part of our post-CSUP strategy, Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to combine all Rave Mobile Safety contracts under one customer number to receive a multi-platform discount and to align the renewal dates. And whereas Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to enter into a 3-year agreement with Rave Mobile Safety to align all of the contracts, which includes Rave 911 or Smart 911, Rave Mass Alert System, and the Rave Desktop Notification System. Now therefore be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. What's the pleasure of the court? Resolution 2024-52.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-52. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Luckmiller,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Bucking.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Next, Resolution 2024-53. This is House Bill 556, MOA.
This is a resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding between the Commonwealth of Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Department of Corrections, the Commonwealth, and the Multi-Kentucky County and Regional Jails, the contractor. Whereas the purpose of this MOA is to establish an agreement for the program facilitator services, and whereas the definitions listed in this MOA shall represent the common and exclusive understanding of parties hereto. And whereas the term of this MOA shall begin July 1, 2024, and continue through June 30th, 2026, upon approval of the Secretary of Finance Administration Cabinet or his authorized designee and submission to the Legislative Research Commission Government Contract Review Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-53?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Got
Jill,
something?
can you give us the short version of the attachment there? I've read this, I still don't know what it does.
So essentially, I may have to have help, but essentially this is an agreement with the state, and we have been receiving these funds for probably about 2 years from the state. I think the legislation changed in 2021 or 2022, if I'm not mistaken, where when we offer programs within the jail, whether that's a GED program or some other kind of enhanced education or programs, we are given some funding for that. So Steve, help me, correct me if I'm wrong. So every time we have someone that completes their GED that's in Madison County Detention Center, we submit paperwork to the state and we get a stipend, I'm going to say, for their certificate of completion. Is that?
Yes, all of our programs, Tom, we report those to the Department of Corrections, who then reports them to the cabinet, and then we get a blanket stipend for that.
Okay. Hence why there's multiple counties listed
Yeah.
and
Yes.
multiple programs in here. We don't have every program
No.
that's listed, but the ones we do have, they pay us back for.
That's how I understand House Bill 556.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's something new. Really,
That's a good thing.
within the last couple of years, yeah. All right, any other questions? We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-53. Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Lightmiller,
Yes.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes, thanks, Jill, appreciate it. Next, Employee Spotlight. Ryan?
Yes, sir. Today's employee spotlight is Brian Abney, Deputy Clerk. What a colleague said about Brian was, Brian consistently demonstrates politeness, professionalism, and a willingness to go above and beyond in assisting both citizens and colleagues. His service and dedication to Madison County are exemplary. So we'd like to thank Brian Abney, the Deputy Clerk. He's been serving with us since 2003 for all his hard efforts.
That's great. That's good. That's over 21 years. That's good. Kenny?
Yep, I agree.
It's 20 years.
That's
so
right, I
you wanna say
agree.
something?
I agree completely. Brian is one of our knowledge experts, I'd call him. If you need to know something about a recording or what, what's going on in that office, or how to record, or how to find, Brian's the one to talk to. And he helps anybody that comes in with anything they need.
He's helped me several times over the years with different things, Judge, and I appreciate his assistance down there. And it's just exactly what he says, very knowledgeable, very friendly, and does a good job. We appreciate it.
Class of 96. That's what I love about him. Thanks, Ryan, appreciate it. Next is a judge's report. I just got a few announcements. I do want to thank Rob Taylor. He's pastor of Tates Creek Baptist Church in Richmond, for being a good community partner and allowing us to use the church as a severe weather shelter. I know he and Chief work together when there's storms and things like that to let people have a safe place to come. The church has a basement, has a kitchen, and that way they can accommodate some of those needs for people. So I want to thank them there at Tates Creek Baptist Church for being a community partner. I want to remind the Madison County Fiscal Court and the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Resources, we will be having a ribbon cutting at Will Green Lake this coming Thursday at 10 a.m. Anyone's invited. If you haven't been out to Will Green Lake, the improvements that we and the State Fish and Wildlife Department did together is just, man, it's awesome. It's a lot better than it ever has been. I'm so very, very proud of that. A lot of work went into it. Our road department helped quite a bit. It was just a team effort, and so we're going to be celebrating the new kayak launch and the boat ramp and the new parking lot and stuff again on May 30th. This coming Thursday at 10 a.m. Richmond Parks and Recreation is partnering with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources to host a free kids fishing derby on Saturday, June 1st from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Lake Reba near the boat dock. This event is for youth 16 years of age and under. Contact Richmond Parks and Recreation at 859-623-8753 for more information. This year's free fishing weekend is June 1st and 2nd. June 1st and 2nd. During that weekend only, fishing licenses and permits are not required. You can visit www.fw.ky.gov for more information. And then reminder, volunteers are needed for the Kentucky River Sweep at Boonesboro State Park on Saturday, June 8th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. T-shirts and lunch will be provided for volunteers. This is a great opportunity to volunteer and help us keep the Kentucky River clean. Please call 859-624-4739 for more information. This is a partnership with Clark County Solid Waste and our Madison County Solid Waste. Fire departments come together and bring our rescue boat and stuff down to help, and so it is a really good event. So Last couple of years, the attendance has been a little light, so anybody that wants to come down and volunteer, it would be good to have a few extra bodies down there. That's the end of my report. Comments from magistrates? Steve?
Not this time, thank you.
Thank you. Billy Ray?
Yeah, had the privilege of reading proclamation yesterday at Flatwoods for their Memorial Day service that the judge signed, and that was a nice event for Memorial Day. Went to the Waco Volunteer Fire Department's spaghetti supper there the other night, and come realize these volunteer firefighters are unsung heroes. And, what drives them, they're not in it for the money. And, I just appreciate our volunteer firefighters all across the county. June 8th, Union City Volunteer Fire Department and the Ruritan Club's having their annual consignment auction. Want to just remind everybody of that, June 8th, that's always a neat event in Union City. They got a unique community there and tight-knit, but they do a lot of work there at the Union City Ruritan Club and Fire Department. Appreciate those guys too, so just appreciate our volunteer firefighters. They're a starting ground, they're like a foundation, they're like a training camp for firefighters to join our county fire department, so, it's a good pipeline to support. That's it.
Thank you, Billy Ray.
I went to the Transportation Safety Conference up in Lexington last week, Judge, and got a couple of good things out of that, especially with some issues that's coming forward, even to the point of had some discussions up there in sessions about the medical marijuana. And so it was a really good conference, and I'm glad I was able to attend that. The only other thing I've got, let's see, I was trying to think. If anyone needs me, Judge, 200-9765.
Thank you. Appreciate the time. Brian?
I just want to thank Brandon McIntosh and the state road crew. They've cleaned up some right-of-ways in my district that were desperately needed, and they did a really good job, and I'm thankful for that. The elections, I asked Kenny before we got started that I think, what you're saying, about 9%.
Yep, a little over 9.
So roughly, 63,000 people in the county decided not to participate. And that's very discouraging when, we have a lot of people that have concerns, but they never go vote. So I encourage you to participate and get involved in elections. You'll have an opportunity in November. Other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here.
Glad to hear it, buddy. Appreciate it. Kenny?
Well, everything else I was going to mention election, Brian, take care of it for me.
Yes,
There is one thing. We have, I say we, the Madison County Attorney's Office, along with Battlefield Golf Course, Chenault, Burford Chevrolet, a lot of other community pillars are participating and working together to put on a golf scramble on June 13th. The benefits go to Enrich to help with some of our second chance individuals. And so the information, it's out on Facebook. You can contact me if you need, we need some teams to sign up. Burford Chevrolet, you can win a car. The rumor's out that I've been practicing. I don't know how to swing a golf club, so chances are pretty good I'm not going to win a hole-in-one. But if you get a hole-in-one out there on one of the selected tees, then there's the chance that you can get a brand new Chevy rolling around. So Mr. Burford will enjoy giving that away if someone wants to come out there. So if anybody's interested, please give us a call and track us down to get signed up.
Thanks, Jenny. Sheriff, do you have anything today?
I would just like to advise the court that the middle of this month, Sergeant Paul Lay went in for a knee surgery. He had some issues. They had ended up putting him on a ventilator for a few days. From there, he went into intensive care. I'm glad to announce that he's home now, doing well in recovery. So I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers that went out for Sergeant Paul Lay.
Thanks, Sheriff. Steve, you good? All right. Comments from department heads. Any department heads need to address the court today? All right, seeing none. Comments from audience or Facebook. Do we have any Facebook comments? If you come up to the mic, please, Jim.
We have two comments from the same person, B. Brandy, asking, I'm going to paraphrase, to save the homes and say no to the proposed distillery on Jacks Creek, and asking the fiscal court, what is the stance and how are you going to protect farmland?
Okay. Anyone want to address that?
Yeah, I've been reading a lot this farmland preservation movement. It's kind of taking root. I don't know what it means yet. You know, it's something we're all concerned about, so I don't have an answer, but I know it's, you know, something to learn about.
Well, I'd be remiss because it's in my district that all this has taken place, and B. Brandy has been very vocal about it. Don't know who she is. Be happy to meet with her if she wants to discuss it, just like I'd be happy to meet with any of them. But I think the challenge is most people don't understand and haven't seen the comprehensive plan for Madison County, and there's a tremendous amount of growth that's been planned for, especially in District 2. I won't speak to the other districts. And so growth is going to take place up there, and we have a situation right now where some of the farmers are not happy because of the growth. But Madison County has to move forward, and we have to provide jobs, and we have to provide opportunities for people. If we don't, we'll be coming back up here in a couple of years and raising property taxes. And that's something we don't want to do because that affects everybody in the county, not just one district. So I understand their concerns. I understand some of the people are angry. I wish that we could get together and discuss it because moving forward and progress and jobs and taxes coming into the county are important to keep our taxes down on all of our citizens here in Madison County.
Thank you. I'll just add a little bit to it that I feel like that our job as fiscal court is not to tell somebody what they can and can't do on their own property. That our job is to regulate it, make sure that there's regulations in place, that it's what somebody does on their property is not necessarily a negative impact on the neighboring properties or that part of the community. You know, the conditional use permit process is a citizenry board. I think it's good government because citizens are approving that or not. They're setting conditions to it to be able to meet the needs of those people in the community. Takes the politics out of it. I think that we do address this stuff in our comprehensive plan, our subdivision regs, our land use regs. Again, I'm open for any kind of conversations. I think at this point, now that the Board of Adjustments has approved those distilleries, our job is to make sure that it has a positive impact on the community. Making sure that transportation corridors are safe, making sure that tourists that we want to visit Madison County that have a safe way in and a safe way out. We're trying to get tourists and people to come to spend money, which is ultimately good for our community. On protecting farmland, you can already get a piece of land designated as an agriculture district. You can go through the conservation board and the conservation district to get that done, and that puts a lot of protections on that piece of land, making it an agriculture district. Those things are already in process, but it takes the landowner to do that. It's not a neighbor can do it for somebody else's land. It takes that landowner can actually do that. So any farmers out there that want to preserve their farm and make it a farm, they can go through that process.
Judge, I want to add to that during this whole process of these two distilleries going before the Board of Adjustments coming up, I've not had one farm owner contact me, not one. I've had people who farm the farm contact me, who maybe have cattle on a farm or grow crops on a farm, but they don't own the farm. I've had people from subdivisions, which I believe this young lady, and I'm not even for sure because that's not her real name, but I've had people contact me out of their concerns. I introduced folks that came to me and asked to talk to the person that's going to be developing this distillery, and I put them together so they could talk. This man's investing money in our county for tourism, for bourbon. Also, he's going to personally live on the farm with his family. So to me, I understand the concern of citizens. I understand some want it, some don't. But Madison County needs to move forward, or we're going to have to raise property taxes down the road.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to say, Judge, that I did go to a couple of the meetings. I was at the last one, the one that Steve said he missed. And I just want to say this about the Board of Adjustments. You know, they're appointed like most of our boards that we have. And those folks, they don't get paid a fortune for what they do. But I will tell you, I was really impressed with the conditions that they set. They put a lot of thought into what they did out there the other night, and they had done a lot of due diligence into where they went and looked at other facilities and tried to learn about the process. So, I want to commend everybody that's on that board. It's a tough job. It's no different than this. It's just at a different level. And, people think that, we just sit up here and just randomly make decisions off the top of our head, same as those folks do down there. That's not the case. There's a lot of research that went into that. They did a really good job down there. I want to commend those folks.
Thanks, Tom. Anyone else? Any other questions? Good. All right, thank you. I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Luckmuller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next meeting will be June 11th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. That will be in Berea. Again, our next meeting, June 11th, 2024 in Berea at 9:30. I need a motion and a second to adjourn, please.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Luckmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.